All right, hey, Shalom, brothers. All praise be to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh. Double honors to the other apostles, great millstone who taught us His word, taught me this word, as always. Yeah, I just want to, I was just browsing through a couple of articles on the net, and something caught my eye here. And as you see right here, um, there's an article here that states supermarkets urged to publish chicken contamination test results. Um, I guess there's like a, you know, you brothers have heard of super bugs. You have heard of, different bacteria that contaminate food, the foods we eat. Chicken. A lot of people eat chicken. Jake, we love chicken. So there's a certain type of bacteria that's out there. I guess that is spreading fast, and these bacteria they could cause if a certain restaurant is not keeping up with their food safety regulation codes and things of that nature, they could be caused to shut down. You know, um, a lot of people take for granted when they go out to eat. They go out to these fancy restaurants, and the restaurant looks fancy. Um, but you don't know what's in that kitchen. You don't know the people that's operating that kitchen, if they're taking things so serious. Cleanliness and following the right procedures when it comes to food handling and the keeping up with the proper temperatures of foods that can cause the majority of bacteria. If they're not handling the food correctly, that could cause the majority of bacteria that are in meats, which there's always bacteria in meats, there's bacteria in our body. Um, if they're not handling this food properly, though, they could cause these bacteria to spread very quickly. Within the meats, and then once you consume that meat throughout your body, which can possibly cause death. So I just wanted to read through this article here, and this article is the Guardian from World News, the Guardian. The title is Supermarkets Urged to Publish Chicken Contamination Test Results. It says consumer group which asks stores to help stamp out Campylobacter. The Campylobacter is a certain type of bacteria that they are focusing on that they're saying is spreading very quickly within chicken. All right. You could go yourself and Google Campylobacter yourself. Those of you who have jobs in the restaurant business, in the food handling business, a lot of you had to undergo some kind of food operator qualification test. I myself, I went through. I have one of those certificates uh, to safely handle foods or whatever. But you know what? Just because you pass a test don't mean that you know all of what's going on within foods. That's a requirement wherever state you live in or wherever you live. If there's a business that operates with handling food, you gotta go through these tests and these screenings or whatever. They want to know that you're knowledgeable of bacteria in foods. So anyway, it says consumer group which asks stores to help stamp out Campylobacter food poisoning by making testing process more transparent. Give me a second. Okay, it says consumer group which asks stores to help stamp out Campylobacter food poisoning by making testing process more transparent. All 10 leading and this is in the UK, all 10 leading UK supermarkets are being urged by consumer group to help stamp out a potentially lethal food poisoning. All right. Bug potentially lethal food poisoning bug present in the chickens they sell by regularly publishing the results of their own internal tests. On the eve of National Food Safety Week, which has written to the largest chains calling on them to shoulder greater responsibility for testing of Campylobacter levels in chicken, which says shoppers must be able to compare retailers' progress through a more transparent and consistent testing regime and reduce their own risk as they seek reassurance that the chicken they buy is safe to eat. Yeah, so it's when you work it, there's always gonna be mishaps with food handling. There's always gonna be because of especially if you're working in a restaurant, you know, everything is about it's about quantity. They push for quality, but a lot of times they're rushing people so much they don't allow the people to have a chance to. If they don't have a proper system set up to where they're consistently having their employees wash their hands, especially after bathroom use. Not everybody is keen to hygiene. Washing themselves. They could be sick, but because they want the money, they want to go in. They may not relay that to their boss or their manager that they're sick, and they cough and they coughing on the food. So it's in a perfect world, man. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna say this, that as we approach to the end of the world, there's gonna be pestilences, man. The pestilence is great outbreaks of diseases in the world. And one of the vehicles that could happen through is through food poisoning, through food, because we all have to consume food. We eat food to live, right? And I don't care if it's vegetables, I don't care if it's meats. There's bacteria in everything, okay? And then you got this GMO shit, genetically modified organism, which an organism is alive, something you consume that's running rampant in your body. It's alive, attacking cells, attacking whatever, weakening your immune system, especially for people who are compromised by some kind of illness already that they had. When they come to eat these foods that got these bacteria in them or genetically modified organisms in them, their health becomes compromised, man. They have a tougher time of recovery or fighting their body, fighting off, their immune system will have a tougher time fighting off these things. So, the New World Order machine or mechanism, they use these avenues, man, like food, definitely food, because they control it. And more so now than ever, they're controlling the production of these foods and what goes in them. All right, and due to the fact of mass production, they are legalizing a lot of things, a lot of bad things that these food manufacturers are doing to their food in order to sell more, in order to get a higher yield in their harvest, so to speak. All right, so let me read on, right? Right, so it says Campylobacter continues to be the main cause of food poisoning in the UK, right? Soon to be America. I haven't heard anything about it in America, but I'm sure that food health boards and stuff are privy to it. Campylobacter continues to be the main cause of food poisoning in the UK, according to official figures from the government's food watchdog, the Food Standards Agency. But the FSA has recently stopped measuring levels of the bacterium found in chicken while it works out a new system of checking for the bug, which is said to be responsible for more than 280,000 cases of food poisoning and 100 deaths. Yes, yes, food poisoning. A lot more people die from food poisoning in 1 year than they do from fucking bullets, man. All right. Um, it says, and 100 deaths in the UK every year. That exercise alone costs uh, 750,000 pounds, English pounds, annually, and the FSA has also paused for the moment its work detailing the levels of contamination at shops run by the big supermarket chains. Retailers also do their own testing and share the results with the FSA, but with the exception of Marks and Spencer and Morrison's, do not routinely make the results public. And over here to the side, if you look to your left, it says 1 in 10 chickens may still carry highest levels of Campylobacter. Like I said, you could do your own research on this and study it or whatever. These type of things make you think twice on going out to eat, man. In these restaurants, man. I mean, you brothers in faith, you set up a prayer, man, and we are protected of the of all these things. These things that are not in plain sight. Like bacterium. All right, they're so small you can't see them unless you had a microscope. Okay. It says, which said that while supermarkets have demonstrated it is possible to put measures in place across the production chain to reduce Campylobacter in chickens, levels remain unacceptably high. Around half of chickens are still, excuse me, still contaminated, and people continue to fall ill as a result. In the letter to supermarkets, which include Tesco, Sainsbury's, Asda, Aldi, and Lidl, which Director of Policy and Campaigns Alex Neil said, we have now reached a vital crossroads in the fight against this potentially deadly bug. We believe it is time for much greater transparency from retailers about testing and the extent to which the controls put in place are proving effective. The industry is working towards a target agreed with the FSA to reduce the number of the most contaminated birds to less than 10% by the end of 2016. But Neil told the Observer, despite the work by the regulator and the industry to reduce Campylobacter in chickens, levels remain too high and it still poses a significant risk to the public. The FSA's target in its regular testing has put the dangerously high levels of contamination in the spotlight and has led to reductions. It's now time for retailers to shoulder greater responsibility for the ongoing testing, and they should be publishing their own data in a comparable, consistent way. Now, I'm not reading this to put strike fear into brothers who are in the faith. Don't worry about that. You trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And one scripture that I would like to read. Give me a second, and I'll go to it. Yeah, brother, just bear with me for 1 second. This is just like an impromptu thing I'm doing. With us and Great Millstone, nothing is scripted, nothing is written. We just go by the Spirit and do what we got to do. Bear with me for a second. Okay, so this is what I wanted. A lot of you probably already knew where I was going. But I just want to read Psalms 91 and end it off with this. It says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. The secret place of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is the word, the knowledge, all right, that he has given us. He has shown us his mystery. So as long as you have faith and endure in this word, you're going to be protected from whatever's out there, okay? Disease or whatever, a bullet, whatever, man. I will say of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, he is my refuge and my fortress, my power, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler. The fowler is Esau, the devil, right? And all the traps he has laid for Jake to get caught up in. And from the noisome pestilence. The noisome pestilence the Lord's going to deliver us from is the thermonuclear missiles. Noisome because when the thermonuclear missiles hit ground zero, they're gonna make loud noise. Okay, and keep in mind there's gonna be 200 million of them. Right, 100,000. How is it? 100,000. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. So if you're in this thing, right, we are to trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? The name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it. But also this is going into he shall cover us with his feathers is going into the so-called UFOs in the time when the Lord, when the last trumpet sound, and the angels begin to come in the chariots, the chariots of Israel. He's gonna protect us from those missiles by, delivering us up into the chariots so that we don't be destroyed by them. The elect, right? Those who have been elected to be saved on that day, right? It says, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. So a shield and buckler a shield was an object that was used to protect you from your enemy and his oncoming blow of his sword or his arrows, a buckler, something that held your sword in place, your munitions while you were on the battlefield or whatever, the word, his truth, which is the word, which is the Bible, the word of the Lord, that's our shield and buckler, man. So you don't have to worry, go crazy. It's just something for us to know, to watch out for when there's a great, in this case, if you ever hear of what they call a foodborne outbreak, which is when a whole bunch of people get contaminated by some kind of bacterium in a food in a certain restaurant or place or public place, in a large scale, then that these things were bound to happen, and it's part of prophecy. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. Right, the arrow that flieth by day. In this term, right, in this time right now, it's like in the hood, crossfire. Niggas shooting at each other. You could get hit by a stray bullet. And ultimately, it's talking about the thermonuclear missiles at the end that will be shot. All right, we're not to be afraid in the truth, man. To worry about that. Just trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, and then you'll be all right. Okay. It says, "Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence." Now, a pestilence is a disease sort of like the pneumonic and the bubonic plagues of the medieval times that killed 2/3 of our people, all right, out there in Europe, that destroyed them, and this is gonna happen again. The Center for Disease Control, they have the bubonic plague in capsules, man. frozen. They have newly created bacterias and things that they have tampered with, man. Brain eating bacteria, flesh eating bacteria that they could just, all they got to do is send their agents out to inject this into the one of these mass food producing companies, and the people who eat these things could very well get contaminated, and it'll keep on spreading, and major cities could get destroyed just by that alone, if the Lord willed it. you know I believe that these things, we in Great Millstone believe these things will happen. And when they happen, we know, though, ultimately is of the Lord, is prophecy. All right, because the people of this land, they're wicked, man. You see, in this Orlando situation, everybody just gave pride and giving all kind of homage to these filthy people, man. And the people know that this shit ain't right, and they just took God out of their minds or whatever. They don't follow after righteousness or whatever. So and it says, he shall cover thee with his let me see. Right, verse 4, he shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence, right, diseases that could be caught. The majority of diseases too could come through foodborne illnesses, foodborne outbreaks, right, that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday, right, the thermonuclear missiles. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, he's speaking to the election of the nation of Israel, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee, right? So it's not going to come near, it's not going to touch the elect, all right? You'll be able to see it with your eyes, but it ain't going to come nowhere near you, so long as you keep the faith, stay focused, and endure to the end, right? And trust in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It says, only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Esau, the other nations, 2/3 of Jacob. Because thou hast made the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. And this is what Yahushai told Satan when Satan was tempting him after Yahushai fasted for them 40 days and 40 nights. He said, Satan told the Lord, here, just, cast thyself down from this mountain, and the angels will, save you. They'll deliver you or whatever. And then Yahushua said, it is also written, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy power. So, man, the Lord, see, Satan knows the scriptures, man. Satan knows the scriptures. So Satan was fucking with Yahushua, but Yahushua cut him dry. And that's how we're supposed to be. The majority of our battles are in our minds, man. Mental, cognitive. That's the level, man. You gotta come in on a level to where your biggest enemy is yourself, this flesh, your mind. And that's what Satan's I always said that Satan's playground, right, is your mind. That's where, right, Yahushua said that's where everything starts off at. Before anybody does anything, it starts off in your mind, right? So anyway, with that, just a quick little impromptu lesson that I wanted to give, and just want to say all praise be to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, who are doing a wonderful work in teaching the election of Israel to salvation.